What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about the Blitzen. So here's an up-close look at the Blitzen from GeekVape. Open up the box here. You've got your tank, obviously, your spare glass, and then you've got all kinds of cool stuff. You've got extra drip tip, tri-tool, your little key we're going to go over in a second, and then all kinds of O-rings, grub screws, whole bunch of goodies in here. So it's a nice little set. And there's a chimney extension as well to put that bubble glass on, so it makes it just a smidge taller. Alright, so let's dive down and take a look at this guy. You get a nice acrylic resin drip tip, which is a 810 fit, and it's got the O-ring inside here, which is a nice touch. That way you can use any of your goon style drip tips on there. It's a top fill, so you take that off and you got two nice big juice fill slots there. And then if you want to build on it or remove the build deck, you could do that while it's full, which is super cool. So you just unscrew the base, pull it out like so, and you can see it's got a postless deck there, so you can put a single coil build running this way with your two juice channels, or you could run a dual coil build that way and wick it that way. The screws are on the side of the post here, and they're little Allen grub screws, and then you can see your airflow right there, and it's got the same airflow on both sides, and it's definitely a good amount of airflow that's adjustable like so. Looking down in here, you can see it does have a concave or rounded chimney to it, which is definitely going to enhance the flavor. And you can see the juice flow holes down inside there. It gives you a nice look. You can see it's a large juice flow section. When I originally looked at it, looking at the deck, those juice flow holes in the deck itself look a little bit small, but when I investigated it further, if you look down in there, you can see they match up perfectly. So it's not as big an issue as I thought it was going to be, because it's a direct fit. And then you might notice the little ports in there, or the little cutouts, those actually fit with these little pegs on the deck right here. So you make sure you line those up properly, and see it doesn't quite sit in there all the way. So when you get it lined in, it falls in place like that. And then you just tighten her down like so. Bada bing, bada boom. And then the key part right here, actually you can use to tighten and loosen the juice flow. So when you want to put that bubble glass on there, you just use this little key. It's kind of similar to your Kylan. When you put this top cap piece on here, you want to make sure you get this part nice and snug. Otherwise, when you go to take the top cap off, this may come off as well, and then the glass is just kind of loose sitting there. So it could present some issues. Alright, so now that we've got a good close-up look at it, take a pull back, have a little vape, and talk about it a little bit. So for your size comparison, we're going to put it up next to the Fire Loop mesh here, so you can see it's a smidge taller. It's 36 millimeters to the acrylic drip tip. This is a Delrin drip tip that's a little bit taller. You can see maybe like, 4 or 5 millimeters taller. With the bubble glass here, now that you can see I've got it on here, it does hold 5 mils of juice, and you have to put that little chimney in there, so it does make it a slight bit taller with the chimney. At the end of the day, it's still a decent sized tank. It's 24 millimeters at the base, so it's going to fit on most everything, but it does have a little flare right there, you can see, that makes it just slightly wider. So that part may overhang, but nothing else. You saw all the goodies that you got in the box. You know, it's a nice packaging job by GeekVape, as they always do. The build deck. Now, I showed you guys that in the up close section, but now I'm going to show you the build that I put on there so we can kind of compare it to something you're a little more used to. So I had a single coil build in here for about 2 weeks or so, and it was a good build. I liked it, but I just felt like it could do more. It could produce more. I could get better flavor out of it. So I switched it over to this dual coil build that you see here. Now these are 3mm dual coils, and you can see I kind of pushed them up and out off of the deck. See that there? Fat fingers in the way. Now you can see that a little bit better. See how much clearance there is underneath that guy? And then I pushed them out to the sides as far as I could. I did that for 2 reasons. The first part is higher up than the airflow, but I also pushed them out to catch the airflow. So it's 2 different reasons that have the same solution, if you will. And this is also GeekVape, their new Alpha Braid coils. Digging them, absolutely digging them. If you haven't checked them out, we've got them. You can get the sets like this. Comes with 2 different types of the Alpha. It's a triple core and a dual core. I put the dual cores in here because I was trying to get the resistance up a little bit more, but it still came out to a 0.18 with dual coils adding a wrap. But let's give it a vape, see what's happening. Definitely no slouch. That's you can see I'm running 3.2 volts, which comes out to right about 60 watts. And some people say it's underpowered for nichrome. For me, I think that's right where it wants to be, so that it's not spitty. It's definitely pushing the limit. If I take 2 or 3 pulls back to back too many times, I'll get a little bit of dry hit. So the wicking I left tighter on the inside, but then I left it loose on the edges, so you could see it was kind of like fluffy towards the edges, and that's really the best way to wick anything with Claptons or Aliens or any kind of like designer type of wire. I find it keeps the spitting down, but it also helps to get good flavor out of it. The conclusion I've come to with this tank is that it's kind of a combination of the Kylan and the Aromizer kind of mixed together, because you've got similar kind of honeycombed airflow to what your Aromizers had. The Aromizer did have a postless deck, and it kind of reminds me of that, but I think the way that the juice flow works is a little bit more like the Kylan, because it does match up perfectly in inner and outer wall. But it's definitely on point with the flavor, and that's really what I was hoping for. I was hoping it was going to be very flavorful with good vapor production, and at the end of the day, it's exceeded my expectations on both of them. It's great on flavor, and it's awesome on vapor production. I mean, you can see I've only got, you know, 2/3 of the holes open. I don't even have it completely wide open. So, and that's vapor for days. Days and days and days and days. Overall construction, I've always liked GeekVape products. You know, when they first came out, they kind of came out of nowhere, so we were a little bit hesitant about them. But the more I mess with them, the more I like them. You know, we started selling their pre-made coils. We got some devices like the Aegis. Now that their tanks and their RTAs have kind of been what they've been known for, but I think this one really takes all the best aspects of the, you know, well-known RTAs that are out there and kind of really refined them. Haven't had any leaking issues, which is a huge plus. I did have a little bit of a dry hit situation with the single coil, but that's why I built the dual coils with a little bit fluffier cotton on the tails so the juice can get to the coil faster. But overall, I got to give this thing high marks. It's got a nice look. It's good build quality. You get a ton of accessories, 2mm or 5mm, and flavor, vapor production are both on point. If you like a good RTA that's not very hard to build and that just works right and is reliable, not too expensive, I think the Blitzen is where it's at. Overall, I would have to say this is probably right up there with the Atomizer, if not maybe even a slight bit better on flavor. It has been a while since I've used an Aromizer, so I can't necessarily put it like apples to apples, but it's right there either way. It's either a smidge better or right at the same. If any, the only con that I could say would be it's maybe a little too tall, and that's, you know, we're still talking less than 40 millimeters here, so that's not really a tall tank per se, especially compared to some of the older style stuff. I mean, that's right up next to the Procore X, which is essentially a Baby Beast tank with the extension on it. And you're talking about like 1 or 2 millimeters difference. So not a big difference at all. But the flavor is tremendous on this thing. It can handle all the power that you could throw at it depending on how you build it. Just make sure you raise them up and push them out as close as you can to the airflow slots, and you'll be golden. So I'm going to throw a picture of the different colors up right now. You've got stainless steel, gunmetal, rainbow, blue, and of course the black like I'm rocking here. They all come with the cool acrylic drip tips, so you get a custom drip tip with it, which is a nice touch. The finish on them is great. The paint on them is great. We're also going to throw you up a coupon code right over here, so you can order them from RVA Vapes directly and get 10% off your order. Other than that, there's not a whole lot I want to say about this tank. It's a pretty straightforward video. Try to keep these as short and sweet as possible, but make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do new videos every Saturday. Make sure that you click the little bell so that you'll get notifications when our new videos come out. And as always, if you want to smoke, that's your business. If you don't, you know what to do.